The question as to why Kratos even has a life debt to Ares is what I believe to be a question that is essential moving into God of War PS4 on Friday. It's really the catalyst for all the games and the story as a whole, as well as a reminder of how Kratos even got to the position he's in the first place. So I figure with mere days left on the clock until God of War PS4 comes out, let's go over the story of how Kratos pledged his allegiance to Ares. What is going on, followers? It is your boy TKD123, and without further ado, here is why Kratos owed so much to Ares. Now this excerpt comes to us from the God of War Wikia, so make sure to go check out that in the description down below, but it's actually a very sad turn of events going into the actual story of this whole encounter. And for a game that came out in 2005, it actually does hit home with a lot of current day struggles that I'll touch on later in the video. But back to the Wikia. As a general, Kratos won battles through unorthodox but effective tactics. However, his pride and hunger for power grew greater with every victory. Despite Lyssandra's pleas to hold off and asking him things like, when is enough enough, Kratos continued on with his bloody conquests, spending time with his family only when he was able to return to Sparta. Kratos and his army finally met their match when they encountered their merciless barbarian tribes from the east, led by Kratos' old enemy Alaric. Outnumbered and overpowered, the Spartans quickly found themselves on the losing end of the battle, with Kratos himself left at the mercy of Alaric the barbarian king, who sought revenge against Kratos for inadvertently causing the death of his father. In desperation, Kratos called out to Ares, the god of war, Ares! Pledging his allegiance in exchange for victory.
My life is yours, Ares. From this day, I shall carry forth your will.
Ares accepted his offer, proceeding to kill all of the barbarians, including Alaric, and give Kratos the Blades of Chaos as a sign of his servitude. And that was straight from the God of War Wikia. And remember guys, the link is in the description. Make sure to go read up on that website. It's a great website. There's a ton of different things and articles about God of War. If you're interested in the slightest about God of War, definitely go check out that website. It's a great source of information. But going into the breakdown of this whole events that transpired. Now I think that the most unfortunate part about all of this is the duality of Kratos' early struggle with wanting to be a great general, as well as Lyssandra's hope that he'd calm down and come home. Whether to come home and spend more time with the family or to just tone his aggression down, Kratos and her were clearly on two different pages. And at least to me, it reminded me of a similar stride to when we have a workaholic father that wants the best for his career and will put that over his own family at times. And while yes, you can make the argument that, well, Kratos was, leading this great army of Sparta to better protect his home and the family that he had within Sparta, it's clear that that's not Kratos' full intention, at least, according to the God of War Wikia, which states that his pride and hunger for power grew greater with every victory he had. So it's almost like it was a personal thing as well with him. It's similar to if you had a father that had a really nice sports car that he got in his 20s, and eventually he'll have to sell that car to buy a minivan for his family that he now has. And it seems that Kratos wasn't ready to put his family over his need and wantingness to be a great general. AKA, it seems like Kratos wasn't ready to sell his cool sports car he got in his 20s and trade it in for a minivan that he has now in his 30s with the family coming along. And because like the Wikia says, as he went on and did more battles and got more victories, it fulfilled him in a way. It kind of acted like it was an indulgence for him to get victories and so forth, which makes it, a little bit more difficult and a little bit more sad in that manner to look at it from a view of Kratos, where that's really where he found, his passion, if you will. And it gets even worse from that point, because once Kratos, pledges his allegiance to Ares, you find out down the storyline, he actually ends up killing Lysandra and Calliope, thus becoming the Ghost of Sparta, which we actually did a full video on a few weeks ago, so make sure to go check that out after this video. However, the other clear component to all of this is Kratos receiving his first set of blades, the Blades of Chaos. While I currently have a draft for another video on the topic coming up soon, in short, the blades are melted to his skin and serve as a constant reminder that he is in service to Ares. And so what do you guys think of Kratos reaching out to Ares to save him in exchange for his service? Was it a worthy trade? Because essentially he gave up nearly everything in exchange for his life. And also with him, pledging his service to Ares, it also led to Ares making sure that he kills his wife and child, Lysandra and Calliope, thus making him more of a god and cutting off his human ties. So even with that taken into account, technically here, However, Lysandra and Calliope would still be alive in the normal storyline if he hadn't taken up the pledge to Ares. So he did trade a lie in that trade and everything, and it was a big thing moving forward for the games and the story as a whole. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments about everything here we discussed in this video, and also make sure to keep it locked down there in the description where you can find our Instagram, our Twitter, all that good stuff. Make sure to check out the God of War Wikia. It's a great source of information. Definitely go check out that if you're excited for God of War PS4. Make sure to like the video if you liked it, disliked it if you did not like the video, and make sure to also keep it locked here on the channel and stay subscribed for all the latest in PlayStation. Thank you all for watching, and as always, keep on following.